Alright, you guys, today I'm going to do the HPA tank and the TR68. I haven't done the HPA with the 10.9 gram riot balls yet, so I have them oiled up in my official ball oiler, and I have my Chrono. So when I did this on the CO2 tank, I had a high of 35.3 joules and a low of 31.6 with the CO2 tank, with this one, and with the salt supply impact rounds, this is what I got with the CO2, and this was with the HPA tank a couple days ago. So overall it was higher on the HPA tank, but I never tried the riot balls with the HPA tank. So if there's any difference, I'll see, and I'm gonna write down all these numbers. And then I also wanted to try the T4E rubber balls, the Burna Kinetics, the Alien Play aluminum, and I believe that's all. So I'll tell you guys the bore sizes of what my paintball gauge checker thing says as I go along, but I'm going to start with the 10.9 gram riot balls. Alright, you guys, I got pressure, I have my chronograph, I have my little journal notebook thing with all these names of markers and speeds and that type of stuff, weights of the balls. So these are the 10.9 gram rubber coated metal riot balls. So here's the first shot. .262. Second shot. I didn't get a reading. .264. I'll do another like a sixth shot just to get 5 chrono readings. So third shot or fourth shot. .258. .268. I'm gonna pause it and put one more round in here. All right, I just loaded up a whole nother magazine, so I'm still gonna keep those old readings, but I'm gonna do all 5 shots, and this is the 10.9 gram riot balls. .260. .260. .260. I have 2 more shots with this magazine. .258. .264. So here's 9 shots. I don't know if my finger slipped or if I had the chronograph kind of crooked or something, but I'll do a joule calculation later. I'm gonna do the T4E rubber rounds. These kind of vary in weight and in bore size. So like on the small side, they're like 0.680 or 0.682, and I've had some go up to 687, and they kind of vary between like 2.8, 2.9, and 3 grams. So I'll just say they're 2.9 grams. And sort of variable bore sizes. So yeah, rubber T4E rounds. 446. Next shot. 446. Next shot. 444. Next shot. 454. Last shot. 442. All right, my next rounds will be the Berna Kinetics. These are typically like 0.684. Sometimes they go in the 0.685, and they're usually 2.9 grams. And these are hard nylon rounds, if you're not familiar with them. I'm just going to write that down in the book really quick. All right, first shot. 464. 454. 448. 448. Final shot. 454. I'm going to get the Alien Play 7.2 gram aluminums and then put some oil and stuff, and then I'll restart the video. All right, you guys, this is the Alien Play 7.2 gram aluminum balls. The bore size on these is kind of small. They're typically like 680 or 682. The gauge I have, it only goes 679 and then 682. So they definitely do not fit in the 679, but they do fit easily in the 682. So here we go. .310. 304. 308. 306. Last shot. 310. All right, my last magazine will be the 3.6 gram Jawbreakers. I've used these a few times on other videos. These are also small bore size, like 682 or HDR6880. They're on Amazon. They're $32 for 100 rounds. So here we go. 3.6 grams. I think I mentioned that already, but 412. 426. 414. 414. 414. Last shot. 418. All right, so yeah, this is the TR68. I've used this a few times in other videos. This is the marker I've used the least. It's one of my newest ones. I think in Europe or overseas, I'm in the US. Overseas, I think it's called the HDR68. But here in the US, it's the TR68. And the only thing I've done to this is I opened up this plastic shell and I pulled the valve block out. And that's it. I haven't put in a valve kit or the firing pin or like none of that other stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what these joule ratings are on the Alien Play and the Riot Ball 10.9 gram Riot Balls. And then these other lightweight rounds, they're pretty consistent. The bigger bore size might have made this faster than the rubber rounds because these are very inconsistent with bore size and with weight. These are pretty consistent. They're always about 7.2 grams. And the Jawbreakers, I haven't weighed them yet, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty consistent. But they also have a small bore. So the two smallest bore balls I have are here. These weigh less than this, so it has higher numbers. These are large bore, like 691, and they weigh a lot, so the numbers way down. These are small bore, 680, 681, and they weigh a lot, so they're in the 300s. And then the Burna Kinetics, they're pretty much like 684 or 685 on the bore size, and they weigh like 2.9 grams. I'm gonna pause the video and then do something else really quick. All right, my gauge on the tank, it was about 1900 before. Now it's about 1000, but this gauge reads kind of low most of the time. So I think I did 10 rounds, 5 rounds, so 15, 20, 25, 30. I did a total of 30 shots, and it went down about 1000 psi. But that's because, you know, it's just open valve, just shooting really high volume of air. I'm going to degas this really quick, and then I'm going to use the original stock CO2, the CO2 cap for this, the quick pierce thing, because I had someone ask me how many shots do I get out of this before it starts to dwindle down using the 12 gram cartridge. And I wanted to see how much I get too, because I don't have that CO2 restrictor in the handle, because I don't have a power kit in here. So I want to see for myself what the how many shots I get like at full power before it starts dying down. I feel like I'm only going to get like 3 or 4 shots at really good FPS readings, and then it'll start to die out. So 1 second. All right, you guys, I got this ready. It's back on CO2. I had to pierce this still. I just hand tightened this. I got like a paper towel and like tightened it a little bit more, so I think it's good to go. These are the Burna Kinetic rounds, and I just want to see how many shots I get off of one 12 gram cartridge, and with the valve restrictor pulled out and no CO2 restrictor in the handle. So this will be interesting. And I'm going to chronograph these just like all the other ones. So I'm gonna pierce this. Or not, 1 second. All right, it's ready to go. I needed to use the Allen wrench to tighten it down a little bit more. So this is a Crossman CO2. I still have a few of these left. I'm trying to use them all up and get rid of them and make the final switch over to Humorex. So yeah, CO2 cartridge, burn of kinetics. I'm gonna see how many shots I get at decent power before I get a drop off. So first shot, 420. Second shot, 408. Third shot, 370. So yeah, I think I'm only get like one more okay shot. And then yeah, 12 gram is spent. So I guess if you do this and you plan on using CO2, you'll probably want to get that restrictor in the handle. .390, and I was shaking the gun around a little bit and letting the CO2 kind of move around. So last shot, 358. This is burn of kinetics. Sixth shot on this CO2 cartridge. .350. .302. I feel like this is done now. I'll still try it. So this will be the 8th shot. Yeah, this I think it's done. So 302, 278, and this I'm just gonna fire this without the chrono because yeah, it didn't shoot. So I took the magazine out. I got through 8 shots. The last shot had no gas. I'm gonna try just dry firing this to see if it has any more charge in it. Yeah, it sputtered at the very end after like 5 trigger pulls. So yeah, you'll probably only get like 3 or 4 shots, and then your power starts to dwindle. I'm gonna pause it really quick. All right, I got another Crossman CO2 in here, brand new one. I'm gonna probably chrono these just to see, and I'm gonna see if I get 7 or 8 shots just like the first time. So this is charged. The little button came out, and I'm gonna chrono these. .372. Had a little bit of like a farting, sputtering kind of noise. Next shot. .372. If these keep being weak, but I get more than 8 shots, maybe the CO2 cartridge didn't pierce that well because these are Crossmans. Third shot. 384. And I'll look at the pierce on the top of the cartridge. The other one looked good. So 4th shot. 374. Last shot on this magazine. 352. Right, I'm gonna switch out the mag. Burn of kinetics. 334, 342, 326, 296. This is the last shot. 236. So yeah, maybe the pierce didn't go that well. I'm gonna look at the CO2 cartridge right now. I'm gonna dry fire. There's nothing left, so I'm gonna degas it right here, and I'm gonna pause the video and show you guys all this stuff. All right, so the second cartridge doesn't look bad. This is the first cartridge. When I loosened up the CO2 cap on the second cartridge, it seemed to kind of loosen really easily. So maybe I had a small leak. I couldn't hear it because I have earplugs in right now. This pierce looks okay, but yeah, I have earplugs in right now, just because this thing's pretty loud and I don't want to damage my ears. So with the first cartridge, which may have been the better one, like 4 shots were decent, and then it started to kind of dwindle after the 5th shot. And then this one, it either had a leak, or because it's a Crossman cartridge, maybe it's just not that great. So yeah, this was not as good. But yeah, it doesn't seem like you get very many shots if you don't have the restrictor in this, which is like this little let me turn on my light. It's like a cylinder that goes in here. It comes with the power kit. The power kit comes with a firing pin and like a blocker for this, so I think it restricts the CO2. It might not hit as hard, like you might get numbers closer to this, but you'll be more consistent with your shots and you won't get a big drop off like how this did. So yeah, you'll probably increase your shot count overall with that restrictor in the handle, but you won't have as much power. So it's a trade-off, because you only have 12 grams of CO2. And one of the reasons I got this and the tank adapter and stuff is because I want to just like target practice with these markers, and this is like a more economical way to do that without having to go through like hundreds of these. Because yeah, most of the markers I have, like the Salt Supply S2, after like 10 shots it's pretty much spent. This Umarex marker, before I modded it, I could probably get like 50 shots out of it, but it's super weak. Like it's 7.5 joules, and you can't adjust this or anything. There's no velocity screw or anything on that. So either use it normal, maybe if you're able to, buy pepper balls or something, if this is like your only option, because it's not very expensive. It's like just over $100, or just skip it altogether. I mean, but once you pull that valve blocker out, it's super strong, and you just need some sort of air source that can handle that much air like being released, and the 12 gram is just not going to cut it. I'm probably not going to buy a CO2 restrictor. Maybe I will. My local paintball store has those things, but they're for the TR50. But I asked Sean from Less Lethal for Dummies if those valves on the inside are all the same size, and he says he believes they are. So I'm gonna go to the A&S gear once I need to refill any of these tanks, or both of these, the silver one and the red tank. I'll probably take this in with me and then see if they can put that valve restrictor in here. I think it's like $25, but there might be better fitting ones from different websites. I just want to try it and see if it works. This was the valve restrictor inside the handle. It's up in here, so you had to undo all the screws, undo the metal casing that's inside of this and then pull this out of the back of the valve. There's a few people on YouTube that have videos on how to do that. The video that I watched that sort of was like a really good guide and a tutorial was from John Reynolds at Alternate Arms Self-Defense. Maybe like a year ago, he made a video about how to take this apart and a lot of the other T4E product line. Yeah, so I think that's it for this video. I'm going to do the joule calculations, and then I'll show you guys all that stuff when I go inside. So see you next time. All right, you guys, this is all the joule calculations from that round of firing with the HPA tank and the T4E TR68 revolver. These are all the riot balls, the 10.9 gram riot balls, and the highest I got was 36.4 joules, and that was the FPS. And then the lowest I got was 33.7. And then pretty much it was like 36 to 33 was the low. On the CO2 tank, what I did a couple days ago on that big red CO2 tank, the high was 35.3 and the low was 31.6. So it's almost the same. I mean, I don't know what 1 joule or 2 joules feels like being hit by that, but it's nearly the same. But also when I used the CO2 tank, it was not ideal conditions for it because like the tank already had about 100 shots fired out of it, maybe 120 shots fired out of it, and it was not that warm. It was probably like 62 degrees or 63 degrees. So once it gets warm around here, it might be different, and when the tank is more full, it will be different, pretty sure, because CO2 isn't regulated. In that 20-ounce tank I have, it's not regulated, so it's really dependent on like the atmosphere weather temperature and how warm that tank is. So this was the rubber rounds, the T4E rubber rounds. I'd say they weigh about 2.9 grams on average, and the bore size on those is kind of like all over the place. So this was, I think, the weakest performer as far as joule ratings. So yeah, 26, 27.8. Most of them were 26. The burner kinetics, they were not much higher than the T4E rubber rounds. They had a higher FPS, just slightly. Like the low was 442 on the T4E rubber, and the low one was 448 with the burner kinetic. The high one was 464 with the burner kinetic, and the highest one was 454 with the T4E rubber rounds. So I think the bore size on these probably helped it get a higher FPS, but overall they're nearly identical. Like I said, 2 joules off from each other. These riot balls had the biggest difference in power overall. The Alien Play 7.2 gram aluminum balls, the highest was 310 feet per second at 32 joules, and the lowest was 304 at 30.9 joules, so almost 31 joules. So pretty consistent, like 31 joules, 32 joules. And that was using that big HPA tank. That is called Big Boy. And those are kind of on the small side as far as the bore match. So these usually measure like 0.680 or 0.681. And these riot balls, they're heavier, and the bore match is on average like 691. So it's a tighter fit through the barrel, and that's why I put oil on them, because I don't want them to get jammed, and it's just a little bit easier on the marker to fire those things. These are the 3.6 gram Jawbreaker riot balls. They're from Amazon. They're black nylon balls. Almost 29 joules was the lowest, and 30 was the highest, 30 joules. This is all the FPS readings. So 426 was the high and 412 was the low. So pretty consistent. There was no huge changes in those. But yeah, the 10.9 gram riot balls, those steel with rubber, those perform the best as far as joule rating. And then I guess the alien plays were second. And these are all kind of like the lighter weight ones. Aside from these, but I mean, half a gram of weight isn't that substantial. I kind of want to get like 5 gram riot balls just to see if there's any like a middleman, because I feel like it would be faster FPS than these, but slower than this. So I feel like maybe the 5 gram riot balls would be like 350 or something like that. But yeah, that T4E revolver is pretty strong, surprisingly to me, because I've seen it all over the place, and I was like, it looks cool, but it's just really big. That's the only drawback about it. Like you can't really conceal that. It'd probably be better for just like leaving it in a drawer somewhere in your house or something. And this was on the CO2 cartridge. I took the HPA tank off, and then I used the normal like puncture cap that comes with the T4E TR68, and I wanted to see how many shots I got out of one cartridge before I start having a significant dip in joules. These were using Crossman CO2 12-gram cartridges, so basically the first 4 shots seemed to be the strongest, and then it just kind of started sputtering after that. And same with the second CO2. I'm going to try this again when it's warm, just to see if there's any difference. And then plus, if I ever get that CO2 restrictor inserted in the valve handle, I'll run this test again. And yeah, so the first 4 shots were 18 to 19 joules on the second CO2 cartridge. And then after that, it started just kind of like sputtering out. It did get 10 shots, but it wasn't that strong by the end. And this one, the first cartridge only got 8 shots, and then it ran out. So pretty much you're going to use one 5-round magazine, or like wheel, 5-round revolver wheel in there. And then it's going to just pretty much die out after that without that CO2 restrictor in the handle. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you on the next one.